Good evening and welcome to Paul T's World. In this video we're going to have a look at the brand new shed bed and the lawn bed. If you'll remember from previous videos, I dug these from new a few months ago. I put in plants that I bought online, transferred from other parts of the garden, and cuttings. So let's see how they're doing in early June. Here's the view of the lawn bed and then the shed bed behind. So let's just walk over to the shed bed and see what's happening there first. So just to remind ourselves, the very first thing I put in here was the rhododendron that I transferred and moved from the front garden. It's just finished flowering. And indeed, I have taken off the spent flowers. With rhododendrons, if you don't have very big rhododendrons, you can indeed take the spent flowers off, and that helps. But what I'm really pleased about is this deciduous azalea. You'll remember me fighting to take it out of the pot. I inherited this azalea. It had been in the pot for years and years, neglected. I took it out of the pot and look, it's actually flowering. Look at this. I didn't know whether it would flower in its first year, having been taken out of the pot. Didn't even know what colour it was. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that a nice red? So I am delighted with that. And in fact, let's just move over because I want to show you this straight away. This is the other deciduous azalea that I took out of a pot that I inherited that was old and neglected. So look at this one. And again, it's flowering, and I didn't know what colour the flowers were going to be. Hasn't flowered much, but look at that. So I've now got this one, and then behind this one. So I'm really pleased about both of these azaleas giving height to their respective beds. Oh, and while we're here, the clematis that is up the shed is looking good. Some of the petals have fallen now, but I'll show you some views of it a few weeks ago. As you can see here, it's rather growing in front of the door. So once the petals have indeed fallen, I'm going to cut this clematis montana right back. And indeed the one on the other side. So they then have the whole year to grow up. And I will repaint some of the shed when I cut them down, take advantage of that. Now, what else has been happening in the shed bed? We have that little rhododendron, Gristedi, putting on new growth. Very pleased about that. The other little rhododendron, the wren, finished flowering now, flowered yellow, and it looks like it's starting new growth. And the evergreen azalea that when I bought it, it actually was in flower, and it's been flowering for quite a few weeks, so I'm pleased about that. And behind it I put a brunnera. I bought this through Facebook Marketplace for a few pounds. And this one is called Jack Frost, and it flowers with nice little blue flowers early in the year. The climbing hydrangea, for the very first time, actually flowered this year. Oh, two flowers. One of them was then up here. There it is. So that's nice. never flowered before, and it's been growing up that shed for 10 years. Now let's just have a look at some of the other plants that I ordered online and indeed bought at garden centres. Let's see how they're taking, because when you plant a new plant, particularly a small one, nothing might happen for a few weeks and it may die, or it just suddenly takes and shoots up. So let's see what's been happening with the ones in the shed bed. Now, first of all, we've got the creeping phlox. So these were bought as really small plants. There's that one and this one here. So those were bought online, so they're kind of taking, they're sort of just about alive, but no less than I would expect. There's the erysimum here, that one's looking okay. The bleeding heart, of course, is an early spring plant. The flowers have kept going. That's the fern-leafed bleeding heart, slightly different from the more traditional bleeding heart. And then we've got these small azaleas that I bought online from Thompson & Morgan. Just little twigs, so that one's doing okay, putting on new growth. Let's walk on the bed. I'll walk over here. I did plant this other bleeding heart. This was in the garden somewhere and I pulled it up, I dug it up and split it. I've just popped it there for the moment. It's a woodland plant, so it doesn't need too much sun. Now this is that mophead hydrangea I dug up from the front garden and I just split it. I split it into 4. This is the one that had most roots. So it's got prime position. Now obviously a hydrangea is going to take a lot of water, a little bit of time to settle down. You can see some of these leaves are not brilliant. We've had periods of heavy sunshine, no sunshine, but I think it's going to survive. And in fact, it's growing from the base. So I have high hopes for that mophead. And let's just have a look in the background. We've got the Griselinia. Now just today I actually took 2 or 3 inches off the top of each of these stems because I want them to bush up. Now we have a second Erysium here. It's a white and yellow one. And in fact it has produced a few flowers already. This is an epimedium that was already in the garden. Now this little cutie here with the lovely little, obviously they're not out right now because it's late in the evening, but I've forgotten the name of this, but I'll put that up for you. And here are the Agastache. So I've got 3 here and they've certainly taken. They looked a bit dodgy for the first few weeks, but they look all right now. There they are. And presumably they will flower this summer. And next to it is the Euphorbia. Now the leaves don't look great, but look at the new growth here, the new little leaves, nice and green. So I'm happy with that. Next to it then is the Euonymus that's going to grow really large. And it's looking okay. I've pruned it back so it'll thicken up. And here's a case in point. This is the sedum that I dug up from the front garden just to fill in this gap here until the Euonymus fills this whole area. Now sedum are supposed to be drought tolerant. I don't find that they are. And I'll show you how the leaves were a few days ago when the plant was a bit dry. I watered it, and then within a few hours the leaves then stood on end, and you can see, look how nice and watered they are now. Oh, and behind we've got those 2 laburnums that I planted so that they will grow up the arch here, and this one is doing quite well. Here it is, and a smaller one there. And looking over the archway here, you can see that the honeysuckle is setting flowers already. The elderberry is growing strongly. I really cut it back. When did I cut it back? It will have been after it flowered last year. And let's have a look down this little obelisk and see how the sweet peas are doing. So I've pinched them out, and now they're setting their tendrils. So I'll just encourage them where I want them to go. And behind that is this Albertine. The Albertine climbing rose that I moved from another part of the back garden. It's growing okay, it's put on a bit of weight, and it's going to flower. So that's the shed bed. Everything coming along nicely. I'm happy enough with how it's doing. Let's have a look at the lawn bed, see what's going on there. As we've already seen, we've got some flowers on the old deciduous azalea. Now the agastache, I bought a mail online, 6 agastache, and here are the other 3. That one's doing quite well, as is this one. But this middle one here, it actually, I think, was eaten by slugs, but it's surviving. I've got confidence that it's actually going to do all right. Although at some point a few weeks ago I thought it was going to die. And here is another little creeping phlox. It's actually starting to flower now. I've left this in. What does it say? Creeping phlox, red eye, is it? I haven't got my glasses on. The other euphorbia, which I think shines in the spring, so it's a little bit duller now. Hasn't put too much growth on, but it's nice and alive. The dogwood, when I bought it, I didn't really like some of these leaves on it actually, but this is all new growth here and here. And because these leaves are not very good, I'm actually thinking of cutting this right down so that it can start new stems, because I want this for the nice red coloured stems in the winter. The geranium is starting to flower. This was bought at a local nursery. And the hydrangea Zorro. This is a lace cap hydrangea. Just got some of its flowers starting here. And it was burnt or dry. I'm not quite sure whether this is burning or too dry. But it's forgotten all about these leaves and brought up and grown new leaves, which is nice. Now this is the one that the new growth, the new stems are dark, this lovely dark colour. And in subsequent years I'll cut some of this back and it'll grow new stems that then will be dark. You see there's buds down here, so next year I could actually cut it down to there and let it grow up again. Yeah, these plants are doing all right, you know, they've been a bit stressed, but they're putting on new growth. and surviving well. And this is the cistus. It'll soon be in flower. Lots and lots of flowers these cistus have. Flowers don't last long. In fact, some of them only last a day, but they seem to have hundreds of them. This doesn't look great, but hopefully its roots will grow and it'll start pushing up new growth. Oh, those leaves. They are new leaves, aren't they? Those red leaves. As long as it's got some red leaves. And indeed, it's actually produced another flower. A bit late, because these flowers come out in early spring. The phlox, looking good. And I'm so pleased with this Weigela. Again, I got this from somebody else. It was in a pot. It actually isn't a cutting, it layered itself and never flowered. I've put it in the ground, given it lots of goodness, and straight away it started to flower. Don't know exactly the name of it, but I'm pleased with that. And in fact, when I dug it up, I managed to pull 1 or 2 bits off with roots. So I've got 2 more of these small ones in other pots. I've got some cosmos here that a neighbour has grown from seed. And I've got large areas here, empty areas. So these are going to have the plug plants that I received a month or 2 ago that I'm growing on at the moment. And here's the other hydrangea. I think this one is the Pinky Winky. Looking good. So far, both the lawn bed and the shed bed are coming along nicely. Nothing has died yet, although one agastache looks as though it might like to. But it's coming along all right. I'm having to water them. If you put in new plants in the spring or early summer, make sure they stay watered, because they haven't got the root system, they haven't got the roots going down deep and can easily keel over through lack of water. So keep an eye on your plants. If you see any wilting leaves, you water them straight away. It's a lifesaver. So what I'll do now, I'll go over to the patio and let's have a look at some of these perennials that I bought as plug plants online. See how they're doing. I feel like a real gardener now. I feel like Monty Don now. I've got these really minute plug plants. I've never done this before. They are so delicate. Oh my goodness, if 25% survive, it'll be a miracle. So now we're on the patio, let's have a look at those plug plants that I received a few months ago. I potted them on and they're mostly doing okay. I'm new to this with plug plants and they can be so delicate, but let's have a look. 72 plug plants. I think they cost me £15. So I got these partly as an experiment to see what it's like getting plug plants and whether I can grow them on okay. And also I knew that with these new beds that I wanted something that will flower and fill in the bed this summer, because of course the shrubs, as I mostly concentrate on shrubs, they're going to take a few years to really get going. And the perennials fill in the gap. Coreopsis. Now then, I think there were 6 there and they're all looking good. No failures there. Doronicum. No idea what that is. Some of these I don't even know. I just bought the package from Thomson & Morgan, 72 plug plants for about £15. Exciting to see what comes up. Most of them I do know, but 1 or 2 I don't. And this one here, Delphinium. Yep, we know Delphiniums. Echinacea, Nectar Pink. Now they're all looking good. Now as you can see, some of these are absolutely minute and probably won't survive, but because I've got quite a few, actually those are Echinacea. These are foxgloves. They'll all survive. Foxgloves are tough. Rudbeckia. Now the Rudbeckia haven't been doing quite so well. Leucanthemum. Don't know those, but they're doing well. Salvias. Also, that seems 6 out of 6. Aquilegia. Yep, I think they'll all be okay. Dianthus. Looking good. Verbena's all okay. And what have we got round here? Now, this has been tricky for me. These are the penstemons. And when I received the first lot, they weren't in good condition, and so in fact I asked for another lot to be sent, and this is those. So 1 or 2 are doing well. There's about 3 different varieties and colours here, but these just, I don't know whether they dried out. You see, they're not dry, and yet look at this, I just cannot get them. I don't know what's going on, to be honest, with these. These 3 are just floppy. That one is not looking great. Oh, but these 2, these 3, in fact 5, I've got 5, they're going to work. Achillea. So there are the 72 plug plants. Some of them didn't make it. But most of them have. So I'm delighted. This is new for me. I think part of the difficulty is making sure you get nice free draining compost soil, mix it with grit, so that it's not claggy and too wet for them. But it's something I'm working on. Most of these are probably quite easy, and if you're experienced, you probably have a good success rate. But my success rate is going to be okay, and hopefully some of these will be flowering come this summer. So thank you for watching. I hope you found the new beds interesting, how they're doing, and I'll see you next time in Paul T's World. Bye.